Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. The show will begin momentarily.
Hello, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky, the Dragonchain Update Show. This is episode Ebony 3. It is the 228th consecutive weekly episode. That is 0xe3, Ebony 3. Reminder, nothing on the show is financial advice, and stay tuned after the updates for an AMA, weekly AMA. So this week on Dragonchain Updates, keep it pretty short. The Super Happy Dragon Lucky lot distribution for governance on this show. 792 lot were created. There was one question for 396 lot. There were no featured posts, and the host received 198 lot, and Dragonchain received 198 lot. Next, we go to Den.Social updates. So first off, we have the December 2023 LCP, the layer creation process commitment phase, has started this past Tuesday. It runs for 1 week, and all commitments need to be made by next Tuesday, December 19 at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight and 1500 UTC. So get in there and vote on those. It is the first, the top by lore and the top by unique voter that will be created. So get in there and do that. Also, we moved to Coffee with Den. It's still on hold. Hopefully we'll hear back from Dave if he's going to start that back up again soon. And DinDAO updates. There is a DinDAO meeting this week. That is tonight at 1900 Eastern, 7 p.m. and 0 hour UTC. Everyone's welcome to join. You don't have to have your camera on. It's just a meeting. So that's all the DIN updates. Now we'll go to World Blockchain Roundtable updates. In case you missed it, last week's episode was merging AI and blockchain. Go watch and share it, please. The more views it gets the first week, the more all the participants will get. And episode 134 airs today at 1100 Eastern in less than an hour and 1600 UTC. The topic is a deep dive, how bridging between blockchains works. Make sure you get in there and leave a blockchain related question or subject to discuss, and make sure you evaluate the ones that are there, vote them up or down so that we get a good sorting. Now we'll go to AMA. So while we wait to refresh the AMA questions, please make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribed, and make sure you share this show for updates. So first question on the AMA is, let's see here, it's from I am for I am, and it is, so maybe it's a math question. How many responses to a post on DIN does it require for the accuracy of the information to be validated? For example, is posting fake info, is a posting fake or is it truthful? Den is very special and powerful because it incentivizes human behavior to predict outcomes and information accuracy. It's a prediction marketplace. Essentially every bit of content is a prediction has its own prediction market. And note, I recently found this PDF and read its abstract and conclusions. You might find it interesting, or you might already be familiar with it. I'll have to look at this. University of Iowa. I'll have to look at that. So, thank you for the question. It's an interesting one, and I didn't get to look. So, this might not be the most accurate. This is totally from memory, but essentially, there is what amounts to a quorum. And I can't remember what we called it in the formula, but essentially there's one factor, which is the number of votes, the number of people who have weighed in, who have evaluated this content. And that is a scale. So if you have one person weighing in, you are only measuring a very small percentage of the amount of energy that one person has put in on that vote. Essentially, it was made so that it keeps out, some manipulation or people who are, trying to do stuff with fake accounts or anything else, to at least suppress that value that they extract. And as you increase it, if you, let's say you have 20 people weighing in, it is at some point, and I'd have to look up, I would tell you from memory, I might be wrong. I'm thinking that it's a Fibonacci. I think it's 13. Once you get 13 in there, that quorum is kind of good. The intent that we had discussed way back was that later that number, instead of it just being a static amount 13, would be some calculus of active users, daily active users within that layer or within the site as a whole. And we hadn't decided that, and we didn't have a way to calculate, active users at the time. So it was just a static number. Now, the other thing to consider, though, is that everything is relative. And if you imagine, let's imagine that there are 10 posts today, only 10. There's nothing else on the whole site, and of those posts, each one has one vote. It's all relative. So the one that has one vote and has 10,000 energy is going to get 10 times as much as the one post that has one vote and has 1,000 energy, right? So essentially, the mining is fixed that way. And so if you then compare a post that has one vote, where it's probably like a 1%. It's a very less than 5% anyway of the energy applied will be accounted for because there's not enough of a quorum. And you compare that to another post that has 10 or 20 votes, or people who have voted on it, that the one with 10 or 20 votes is going to have a significant, because the quorum is there, that we know, okay, we at least have an evaluation here. Another interesting thing to look at is how we did the tagging system, and it is very similar, right? But with tagging, there's no energy applied. You can tag, you can vote on a tag for free, essentially. So we had to do a couple of things there because, and we even saw people who were trying to game the system and troll people by marking legitimate content, for example, as not safe for work or as spam or as abusive, right? And sometimes all three. And so what we did, we essentially made it as safe as possible, but as open as possible, where essentially, at least for the abusive and NSFW, not safe for work, that those two posts kind of get assumed. You get one vote, okay. We're not removing the info or anything else, but in the one case we are essentially blurring out an image if there is one, and for not safe for work, and then for abusive, I think we're blurring the text as well. And once you get a second person saying no, it's not abusive, or it's not safe for work, it still considers it a 50-50, and I believe that at the 50-50 mark, it still plays it safe and it's still blurred. Now, when we do this, if you are, you can still click on it and see it so that you can evaluate it, right? Um, but at least it's not in people's faces if it really is abusive or something. And so let me think here. All of that's there, but as soon as you then it goes. Once you have 1 and 1, we're still playing it safe. But as soon as the let's say the correct, or what becomes consensus, decides that no, that was an attack, that it essentially um, will take care of itself. We did have something in the design that later we could implement, which was which amounts to a an evaluator reputation. That is, how often are you at odds greatly with the consensus of the community? In which case, you could effectively keep those people from voting. And we didn't do it because it's such a subtle thing. It's potential that you could create echo chambers very directly, because there's no way to evaluate at odds with the current existing community. And maybe if there was a half-life, so that community could move over time. There are a bunch of uh, provided already options on that, but that's generally it. It's a pretty cool thing. It works for sure, and I know there are some subtle things that we need more data on before we really know if we have the right answer. So great question. Okay, next question. Um, Also from I am for I am. We have enough time to answer it. Thank you very much. So second question, no lot reward. I understand you can earn matter by providing liquidity on Uniswap, by adding to the matter ETH pair. Is this correct? By doing so, do you get more of a voice or vote in DAO? Okay, so this is interesting. And on this, we had to review a couple of things just to make sure that we remembered everything, because there's a lot here. So the first is that you don't earn matter, right? Liquidity does not get you matter. Liquidity does get you into, what did we call it? The lore rewards. I can't remember what it is. Here, show me the next page on the next tab on this. So, um, okay, this is claiming. Okay, so sorry, I can't. I'm like, I have to make this bigger. I can't see it in here. Darn it. Okay. Okay. Sorry, my screen is smaller over here for some reason. So essentially, lore behavior reward system. Sorry. So you can have matter in your wallet and get lore in the lore behavior reward system. You can have lore in your wallet and you can get lore in the lore behavior reward system. And you can also have matter ETH or lore ETH, and participate in as well. You can also participate with by holding Dragon, things like this. And you have to have it claimed. And you can see, if you go to the wallet screen, you essentially have to connect a MetaMask, claim a wallet, and then you have to click that checkbox that says snapshot. And essentially that will check every night. And if you click it, it costs us a little bit of extra CPU. So don't click it on, unless you mean to. And if you accidentally click it, it's not a big deal. But that if there's nothing in there that the system recognizes, matter, lore, or tokens for liquidity for either of those, or Dragon, then it won't. And this is on the Ethereum side. It won't. It'll turn that checkbox off and won't check again tomorrow, right? So do take note of that. But that essentially you can earn lore. So that's the first thing. The second thing, by doing so, do you get more of a voice or vote in the DAO? Now, this is interesting because if you look at this post, that DIN itself, and we could review this quickly. That essentially there are three votes in DIN, and they are aggregated by the members of those those votes, those groups. One of them is the creator vote, which, and we say creator, it's essentially a matter focused vote. People who create content, people who evaluate content are earning matter, right? They're mining matter. So you have a matter liquidity section, and you have a matter economic section. And so the liquidity section is you're competing with other holders of matter liquidity for half of the creator vote. Okay. On the economic side, it's essentially what is it? It's matter generated during the period, um, and uh, and retained in the account. So you basically need to generate as much matter as possible and hold as much matter as possible. So I think there is even a piece of it if if you were to buy matter and put it in your wallet, or definitely if somebody tips you matter, that ends up counting in your wallet, right? So you will get half of each of those will be part of the creator vote. The owner vote, which is focused on lore, layer ownership rights and such, and lot, is essentially split into two parts, where it's lore liquidity, which is lore to ETH liquidity. You have to have that token in a claimed wallet, so on and so on. And let's see here. And you can read the details on this. The other side is the amount of matter generated via your lot holdings for that period. So what you want is to hold lot in one of the communities and then go and try to generate as much matter as possible through that community. And that will give you, and so that's half each of that owner vote. And then the last vote, originally called the founder vote, I now call it the founder slash builder vote, because I think the intent is to bring people in to build on Den, or to build with Den, or to build their communities inside of Den. So founder vote is its own, and that's with the DIN lot. And there are various members of the community that have been brought in with at least one lot. So they have, they have a small piece of that, and it is set up so that the effectively we have some people who are well established with good reputations in the system, wanting to build it, wanting to improve it, wanting to uh, to gather adoption, and so they are members of that. And there's even a program that DenDAO approved that anybody, and I think it's every month. And anybody can be nominated to receive a lot in DIN for that purpose, and DIN votes on it, and it happens. So anyway, good stuff. It's it's an interesting system, and it works. And the lore one could it might be helped if more people knew about it and how it works and what the numbers were. But it's an automated system, so you can look. You can very much look in your wallet. In fact, you can look in the payout rewards. There's a whole section on how much lore you got for what section and stuff. Very interesting stuff. And in the end, the thing about DinDAO that is, in my opinion, remarkable, that it worked the first time. And obviously any system can be improved, but it actually does work, is that a significant portion of it is not based on holdings of a token like the typical DAO in the DeFi Wild West. It is instead partially focused on holdings, and for purposes, right? And not even holdings, more on earnings. That it is mostly focused on behavior. That is, the matter and the lore side are both heavily focused on your behavior in those votes that on the system as a whole. That essentially you can come in with no value at all. You don't have any money at all. You come in and you start making good content or evaluating good content. You're going to earn matter. You're going to earn lore, and you're going to earn vote in the Den.DAO. And that's the beauty, that anybody can vote in that has some measure of one of these variables. Okay, so those are all the questions. Great questions. Thank you, I am. And no featured post today. I am for I am will get credit. So in closing, make sure you go and get some merchandise at Dragonchain.Store. There's a lot of cool Den logoed stuff and cool Dragonchain logoed stuff and some other various cool pieces. Also, if you're able, please do contribute to the Dragonchain Legal Fund at legalfund.dragonchain.com. We can accept dollars, we can accept subscription, we can accept a lot of different crypto, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum, so on. There's a whole bunch in there. And if there's one that you would be able to contribute and it is not listed with an address there, please let us know. We'll get one set up and accept it. All right. So you can see there's a good list there. A bunch of good coins. So also make sure you watch us next week, same time, and make sure you watch World Blockchain Roundtable today at 1100 Eastern, 1600 UTC, and follow us, Dragonchain, Real Denizens, Jojo Row on Twitter, X, LinkedIn, and on Den.Social, of course. That's it. Thanks. Bye.
Now, more than ever, our data is at risk. Our supply chains are in jeopardy. Our systems are broken, and businesses feel powerless. Dragonchain gives you a different way, a safer way, a better way, and you have power over your data. Dragonchain gives you proof in an untrusted world. Build now at dragonchain.com. America's blockchain.